All right.
Hello, my name is Bryce Tubbs. With me today is Caitlin Long. She's the CEO and owner of Team Lifelong Fitness. I am so excited to have this conversation with her today and share it with you. Let me ask you this question. So, what was life like before you got into consulting and fitness? And really, what was the catalyst that brought you into the space?
Sure. So I have been a physician assistant for about 7 years now. So physician assistants, for those of you who don't know or who've never been seen by one in a healthcare, clinical, hospital setting before, physician assistants are certified licensed healthcare professionals who basically do a lot of what doctors do. We diagnose, we treat, we evaluate, we prescribe, we order lab tests, diagnostic imaging. We basically do it all, yet under the supervision of a physician, whether that be remote or in person. And we can work in any specialty. So my background in particular is in ER, trauma, ICU, as well as in oncology. Most recently, I've been in oncology for the last 3 years. So have a lot of experience clinically. And what was the catalyst for me to change from your regular PA to an entrepreneur and a consultant and CEO and coach was I just noticed there was such a need for something more, something bigger, especially in the community. I wasn't satisfied just doing kind of the day-to-day tasks that we do in the hospital. And of course, COVID, the pandemic, quarantine has shown us how broken the healthcare system is. So it's something that I wanted to reach outside of, the traditional hospital walls and do something more for my community. So I have been in the health and fitness space for as long as I can remember. I grew up an athlete in, my whole life, and I was a college athlete as well in volleyball, and I just never wanted to lose that part of me. So I figured, how could I actually make this something that I love? There's that saying that you never work a day in your life if you're doing something that you love. And that's something that I wanted to create that I wasn't feeling in the hospital system. So that's why I wanted to start my own business.
Yeah. And before we go any further, for those watching, if you haven't already, come and watch this inside of our free community. Okay, it's taken a very long time to cultivate such a positive group of people who want to see you succeed. Who maybe were tired of the status quo, just like Caitlin, who made a change in their life, and they show other people how to do the same. So if that's you, go on ahead and click on the link either above or below and join us inside the community. Now, let me ask you this question. So, you did touch on the quarantine. Some people are in it, some people are out, some people are maybe going back in. Maybe what's been your biggest takeaway from this time period?
Change. Being open to change and flexibility. I mean, I think those are the best qualities that you can have in this situation. And luckily, the healthcare field had prepared me for that. You, especially working in ER or ICU, you have to be ready for anything that walks in through those doors, whether you like it or not, whether it's your favorite thing to take care of or your least favorite. You have to be ready and on your toes. And that's a skill that definitely translates into real life and leadership and business. It's just so important to remain flexible. If you're afraid of change, I've certainly been there too. I think everybody, being a human, is at some point afraid of change, but it's something that, has definitely helped me just to take a step back from all the chaos that's going on right now and just say, okay, how can I grow? How can I become better from this? And really stepping away from the negativity that we kind of hear all around us, whether that's on social media, in the news, just figuring out how, I can adapt.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. So nowadays, what problem are people generally trying to solve when they come to work with you?
Sure. So we offer all kinds of services. We obviously, by the name, we really focus on sustainable fitness, health and wellness. We do personal training, nutrition plans. I'm a yoga teacher certified, so we focus on yoga, meditation, mindfulness. We do one-on-one group coaching. We do all kinds of workshops and mini retreats. That's kind of our bread and butter. But most recently, with the consultant piece, we've been branching out and do life coaching, particularly with my background in oncology and all of the really high-paced, high-energy, stressful fields I've been a part of. Those are people who are at some of the most vulnerable periods of time in their lives. So the coaching that we focus on is people who have gone through trauma, whether that's physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, you name it. So we specialize in, cancer, post-illness, again, trauma, mental wellness. So we kind of coach people through those periods of time because it's really scary. There's so many unknowns, so much uncertainty. So that's where our coaching is. And I help people in the health sciences field, with career counseling and things like that. And then the consultant work, we're starting to partner with local healthcare facilities to help figure out how they can change their culture. So that looks like helping with self-care and burnout for employees, whether that's burnout prevention or intervention, because a lot of people really are burnt out, and that's not specific to healthcare. Business coaching, leadership trainings. We do motivational speeches, whatever you need. We can kind of provide that in some way, shape, or form. Or if we can't, we refer you and we partner with other local organizations that can do that. And then one of my favorite things about what we do is we're not a nonprofit, but we certainly partner with a lot of nonprofits. So the philanthropic piece, service, volunteerism is really important to us. So we love to give back to the community as well.
How do you keep up with all those cool things? That's a lot of great things you have going on.
Yeah, it's hard. We do have our hands in a lot of different pots, so to speak, but what's important is I love it. So that's what keeps me motivated. That's what keeps me inspired. And I know I'm only one person. Luckily I have my husband helping me in this business, but we have partnered with a lot of amazing people, whether that's people in healthcare, in the community, in business. So if I can't do it alone, I know where to refer them if they need help.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. So how do you stay organized with all that?
It is a daily challenge. I think just being really intentional about getting laser focused and communication. So communicating with my family that, hey, I need X amount of time to get done what I need to get done for the day. So I have a game plan every single day that I look at. Monday through Friday is definitely the hustle. The weekends is kind of our time to enjoy. So if we want to have that time off on the weekends to enjoy, then, I'm looking at, what must I get done? So usually I prioritize at least 3 things that I want to do. And then the rest is kind of bonus if I get it done. So I really just stay on track. I use a paper planner. I'm like very old school, pen and paper. I do have an online calendar as well, just, especially if I'm on the go a lot. But that's really the best way I stay organized is I make a ton of lists, very type A, but that's kind of how we stay on track.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a lot. That's great. Yeah, because it's cool that you're able to have you always been so organized and so
No. It's a skill, right? I think, some people get caught up in the fact that they think, oh, I'm not born with that talent of multitasking or staying focused or time management. And that's just not true. That's such a misconception. It's a learned skill. It's an art form. And it's something that I still struggle with. Some days I can nail it. Some days I cannot. So it's a work in progress. And I think it's important to give yourself the grace and time and space to allow for mistakes and imperfections. And that's something that took me, almost 30 years now to learn. And it's not perfect. I think that's the key is, it sounds like I have it all together, but I don't. And I don't think anybody does, and I think becoming a mom too. So I have an almost 2-year-old, and becoming a mom, you have to be super intentional about what you can get done in a short block of time. So a lot of my hustle is in the morning before my daughter wakes up. It's during her nap time, which is usually a 2-hour block if I'm lucky. And then it's when she goes to bed. So my business hours are super variable, and I'm very cautious about the time that I take away from my family. So if this is a morning interview for me, that's time that I really had to be intentional about blocking out and weighing the pros and cons. Like, is this going to serve my higher purpose? If yes, go forward. But if not, then I move on. So I think it's just getting really intentional about your priorities and, what your higher why, what your purpose is, and then making decisions based on that.
Well, I'm glad that it fit into your checklist to come and share with us today. So I really appreciate you carving us out,
No, this is important to me, giving back and helping other leaders, inspiring other leaders who might be in the same space or maybe just getting started, or even seasoned people who just kind of need to hear it framed a little bit differently. I think it's important.
Yeah, because we do have a pretty big portion of people who are still in the corporate environment. So
Sure.
it's kind of like, oftentimes guests will get like clients as a result of doing these interviews. But let me ask you this question. So this is like something that I've heard a million times from people, even myself at times. So since you're doing all those cool different activities, is it more like your personal brand, or is it like the business, and the business just like, how do you brand that so people don't get confused by what you do?
Yeah. That's a great question. So it's a little bit of both, I think. I don't know that it's one or the other. So I've been really diligent my whole life about protecting my reputation and how I want it to be seen by others. And that doesn't mean that I'm super over vigilant about it to the point where I, overly care what people think about me.
Mhm.
But I've treated people with kindness and respect, and I think that goes a long way. So my brand has been developing for years before I started my business.
Mhm.
So I think it's a lot of karma. I guess that's kind of the yogi in me speaking is, I've treated people well, so that has come back to help me in the long run. Whether that's me treating them as a patient in the hospital or treating one of their loved ones who's one of my patients, or just helping them in life, whether that's hooking them up with the right gym or hooking them up with the right nutrition plans, or helping them through a difficult period of time in their life. That all comes back with
Mhm.
really good vibes. So that's kind of my branding. It's very authentic. It is intentional to a degree. I mean, I'm pretty calculated about the audience that I'm targeting with my social media campaigns and things like that on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. But I think if you're true to who you are, the branding stuff, it kind of falls into place. Marketing, branding, like, yes, of course you should be aware of algorithms and things like that, and what are the hot topics in today's business and marketing and things like that. But overall, I'm just true to who I am, and I think people respect that, especially in today's world. I mean, in COVID times, people don't want that filtered, perfect image right now. I mean, we're all struggling. We're all in the same boat. So I think people really respect when people are honest and open and authentic. So that's really my branding. I mean, I just be me, and I just try to give my love and service to the world. And I think people pick up on that. And those are the people I want to partner with.
Okay. Yeah, because when I was asked, I was meaning more like, do they ever get confused? So, I thought, so are you a business coach, or are you leadership? Do they do they ever ask you that question, or are they just like, wow, this is just Caitlin?
One stop shop.
That's cool.
One stop shop. Yeah, I mean, I think it's something I'm still working on as far as my business plan. And I think it's important to realize that a business plan is an evolving, living
Yeah.
document, and it's
Mhm.
not necessarily going to be set in stone forever.
Mhm.
So that's something that I'm still learning. While I have a lot of talents to give, I know, where my strengths and weaknesses lie. So will this look different 5 years down the line? Yes. And I hope so, right?
No,
I hope to be evolving and growing.
yeah. I mean, because you might be on like when stages come back open. I don't know. I don't know if you do any speaking, but man, I can see you like doing a lot. You're really cool. But
Thank you. I hope so. Yeah, that would be awesome.
yeah. And then let me ask you this question. So, do you oh, actually, let's ask this one first. I was gonna ask like, do you have anything new? But maybe what's the vision look like for you for, down the road?
The vision. I love this question because I'm definitely a dreamer. This is where me and my husband differ. Not that he's not a dreamer, but we joke that he's the realist and I'm the idealist, and we're the perfect combo. But oh my gosh, my vision board. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. Let me try to play with this a little bit here. Okay, I'm gonna move my screen so you can see my vision board hanging. Sorry, my light's in the way. That. So this is my home office, very humble beginnings, right? But you could see my vision board hanging there. So it's something that I look at every single day. And the long-term vision is honestly to make the biggest impact that I can in my community, and then eventually globally. So it's we've planted the seeds, right? And I think a lot of successful businesses do that early on. There is no such thing as an overnight success. So the people that you look at and you see, super successful, it's because they planted seeds way early in their business or in their, whatever they're trying to create. So I think the impact, the goal is really about the impact and vision going forward is just to help as many people as I can. I was already doing that, helping others in the healthcare setting, right? And people are always like, oh my gosh, how cool, you save lives, which is amazing. I'm not going to downplay that. It's been amazing to literally take people who are injured and broken and fix them. Sounds like Humpty Dumpty, right? But it's amazing to be able to do that. But I want to do that on a bigger scale. So in a day, if I can see 30 patients in a day, those are 30 lives that I changed in a day. But what would be the impact if I could do even more, whether that's through, inspiring somebody on social media or, someone purchasing a course down the line from me, or like you said, hearing me speak at an event, how many lives could I impact in a day? Could it be more than that 30 or, sending out a ripple effect essentially. So that's my goal, is to continue to inspire and empower others to do what I'm doing, to do better than what I'm doing. That's really my goal. It's very heart-centered, very soul-centered. I feel like my mission and vision are in the right place. And I think when those things are aligned, a lot of really amazing and beautiful things can happen.
And, I was actually spending some time recreating my vision board. Just a quick question. So for your vision board, like, is it like super far into the future, or is it more like midterm, long-term, or both?
It's a little bit of a mix here. Let me bring it over here so you can actually see it. All right. This is like a whole workshop in itself, right? This is another call, but okay. So vision board, sorry, it's like bigger than me, definitely bigger than the screen. So I have all sorts of stuff on here. I kind of put them into blocks. I mean, you make it yours. If you want to do it a certain way, you don't have to make it look like mine, but I have like health and fitness. I have a couple here running. Something I want to embody is just having like our family be healthy, influential. I have Wonder Woman here, definitely something I'm striving to be like. I wanted to get my yoga teacher certification, so I have like little post-it notes that say done on it. So there's no time frame. Like, I'm not necessarily putting the pressure on myself to complete them in a certain period of time, but it's just stuff that inspires me. And again, this can be an evolving thing, a living document, but this is the hospital system that I work for. Just really creating some cool things. A lot of travel. Unfortunately, with COVID, those plans have gotten slightly derailed, but I wouldn't say completely, because in America, I mean, we've been able to still travel, anything drivable that we can still social distance, we're trying to make happen. And luckily we have the flexibility in our schedule to do that. My husband's a teacher by trade, so we're still waiting to hear if he's virtual or not. So the minute we hear if he's virtual, I can't believe we're still deciding like a week or two out from school. But if we find out he's virtual, we're gone. We're going to all these places. You can find me in an RV somewhere. Hopefully I'll have Wi-Fi so I can continue to do my social media stuff. But, that's pretty much it. I have my daughter here and just some more like adventure stuff. Some of the international stuff will have to wait. I have Machu Picchu on my bucket list there. But, still pretty impressive how much you actually can get done during COVID times if you put time to it. So I've been really blessed that I've been able to still work, but also been able to work on my own business and make some beauty out of the chaos.
That's really, really great. That's cool. I think that's the first time someone showed us their vision board on the interview podcast. So thank you. This whole episode is kind of taken more of a turn from what I originally thought to more like vision and kind of focusing on different things. That's really cool.
Yeah, good.
I think that's thoroughly helped a lot of people, because I don't think people really understand what a vision board means, or like I don't even think, can you maybe talk about like
Sure.
vision boards?
Oh man, this is my jam. So you got me
Uh,
in my element now. Okay, so vision boards. Basically, they're just a way to get your dreams out on paper, and visualization is a huge exercise as far as successful people. So if you read any personal development, professional development, I would say the top leaders in PD, what professional or personal development and leaders, they all talk about vision boards or they talk about visualization. So it's basically an exercise you can do every day to say, like, okay, where am I going? What are my dreams? Am I getting closer to them or further from them? So vision board is just a really cool concrete way to put that on paper. So I actually run workshops in January usually, because I think the start of a new year is an important time to revisit goals, but it shouldn't be the only time. So that's always like my gripe with New Year's resolutions, is that should not be your only time to make resolutions. So we did do a vision board party in January. So I got together with some friends, family, and people in the community, and we just sat down at like our local pubs, and we sat down at a brewery, and we did 2 workshops locally, and we plan to do them online as well for those, especially COVID times. I mean, that accessibility is important, but what we did is we just had these huge poster boards, and we laid out a ton of magazines and just told people to bring whatever inspires you, whether that's pictures of your kids or, some special magazine that you read or whatever that may be, or a printout from Pinterest or something. Um, Whatever inspires you, put it on that board. So the goal was to kind of keep it within a 10-year span, 5 to 10 years. But, anything basically from now in 2020 to 10-year plan. But you can go beyond that. You can go even shorter term goals. We did talk about SMART goals. So if you've heard that concept before, we talked about how to really goal set. And again, this could curtail into so many different podcasts probably.
uh,
But yeah, so we just talked about how to even set goals, how to keep them realistic, but not too small. And then we put them on paper. So we give people kind of the instruction loosely, but we give them the time to create and to really get innovative about what they want their life to look like. And it's such an amazing transformation because it takes people who are kind of like almost scared to dream, or they think it's outside the realm of possibility, but then they start making these beautiful creations, and they might joke like, oh, I'm not artistic, I can't create a vision board. Anybody can cut and paste, okay? So it just brings you back to that like joyful childlike time, when we had like arts and crafts class, right? So everyone's doing arts and crafts, maybe with like a beer or wine in hand, and it's such a cool experience really to watch and to be a part of, because you just see everybody's visions transform on paper. And that's really the concept of a vision board. But I think the key is to not just do a one and done and put it away somewhere you're never going to look at it again. I hang mine up where I can see it every day. It's in my home office, and it just inspires me, when I'm having a tough time, or, when it's especially COVID times, I look at that board and I say, okay, what else can I accomplish? It keeps me motivated. It keeps me on to the next thing. And, when I run out of space, or when I put my little done Post-its all over it, then I create a new one, or hopefully that'll be by, 2021, but we'll see.
yeah. Yeah, I have a closet like this. This is like a when I bought this house, it had a room. It was like a basically like another bedroom,
Okay.
but it's like kind of something's off about it. So they don't tell the people this until I sell it. But it like has a room that's basically an office, but it's the same size like a bedroom. So it
Yeah.
has like this giant closet that I'm facing in front of. So
Nice.
like I think that's another spot I can hang.
There
I've
you
been,
go.
yeah, because I'm trying to I want to duplicate the same vision board like 5 or 6 times
Yeah.
around the house and around just the different areas.
Yeah, that's super
Uh,
smart.
but yeah, it's kind of cool. That's great. But wait, let me ask you this question. So where do people go to learn more about you, or where can they go to connect with you further?
Sure. So you can find me basically on most social media platforms. I would say I'm probably the most active on Instagram right now. So it's at Team Lifelong Fitness. It's all one word, nothing fancy. So team, TEAMLIFELONGFITNESS. And you can also find me on my website, teamlifelongfitness.com. Facebook is Caitlin Trovato Long, but we also have our business page is Team Lifelong Fitness. And if you need to email me, you have questions, I'd love to hear from you. You can find me at teamlifelongfitness@gmail.com.
Nice. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate learning more from you and just really seeing where this conversation kind of went.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And I'm excited to see some of your other interviews as well.
Awesome. And for those watching, we thoroughly hope that you found some value in this. Now, once again, if you maybe are feeling socially displaced, maybe the people that you're around right now in these times aren't really as supportive as your dreams and your ambitions or your goals as maybe you'd like or maybe you need to start moving forward. So if you want that, come and join us inside of our community. Again, it's a mastermind of people support each other, answer each other's questions every single day. So if that's what you're missing in these times we're in, come and join us by clicking the link either above or below the video. Now, hopefully you found this as valuable to watch as it was for us fun to create. Feel free to hit the share button so other people can get some great value as well. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. We'll see you next episode. Done recording in 3 and 2 and 1 and